All right, let's dive into SmolLM2, this small language model that's making waves in
Yeah,
the AI
it
world.
definitely causing a stir.
Right, we're so used to these massive AIs, but SmolLM2 is all about packing
Hmm.
power into a smaller package, making it runnable on way more devices.
Exactly, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. It turns out small doesn't have to mean weak.
Not at all. We're seeing a real shift in AI. It's
Yeah,
not just about building bigger models anymore.
right.
Tuning smaller language models, but for longer, it's proving surprisingly effective.
Hmm.
It's really challenging those earlier assumptions about needing these massive models for everything.
So are we talking about like resource limitations being a concern?
Oh, absolutely. And SmolLM2 addresses that head on.
Okay, so the researchers behind SmolLM2, they basically force-fed this thing
Uh-huh.
a ridiculous amount of data, right? I mean, we're talking trillions of tokens.
Trillions, yeah.
It's like, I don't know, the Library of Congress, but on steroids or...
A good analogy.
But it's not just about the sheer quantity of data, right? They went through these really specific stages of training, each using a different blend of data,
Hmm.
web text code. They even threw in some math.
It's all about a very carefully orchestrated process. You
Yeah.
see,
Oh,
they start with this broad base of web text,
okay.
things like the FineWeb-Edu dataset to give SmolLM2, a grasp of general language
Like a
facts.
foundation?
Exactly, but then things get really interesting.
All right, I'm listening.
They introduce code, datasets like DCLM.
Hmm,
This pushes the model to develop logical reasoning,
okay.
almost like you're teaching it to think like a programmer.
Interesting.
And then the really intriguing part,
Okay, lay it on me.
they hit it with math.
Math? I mean, why? Why math for a language model? It's like my brain just, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But recent AI research has shown that training with math data, like the FineMath dataset they used,
Okay.
it has this unexpected benefit. It boosts performance across all sorts of tasks,
Oh, really?
even those not directly related to math.
Huh. So it's like what? Math is like a secret brain workout for the model?
That's a great way to put it, building up those abstract reasoning muscles.
So we're not talking random data dumping. It's more like a targeted curriculum for an AI student.
Precisely. And throughout this process, they're constantly monitoring small LM2's performance,
Okay.
tweaking that data mix in each stage. You see,
So it's a constant process of like observing and adjusting.
exactly. Think of it like an
Hey there. Want to share your thoughts on this?
Hey there. Um, can we explain the data-centric? What's the meaning of the data-centric in this paper?
Hey, great question. When we say data-centric, we mean that the focus is really on the data itself.
Exactly. Instead of just building a bigger model, they focused on making sure the training data was top notch.
It's like they spent a ton of time carefully curating the perfect ingredients for their AI recipe.
That's a great analogy. It wasn't just about throwing more data at the problem.
It was about selecting the right kind of data and using it strategically,
Yes, and you can see this in their multi-stage training approach and new data sets.
right? That multi-stage training, constantly adjusting the mix so they get the most out of their data.
And the creation of FineMath, Stack-Edu, and SmolTalk shows that data was front and center.
Okay, so it's like they weren't just feeding it a bunch of random stuff. There's a method to their madness.
Precisely, and that's why SmolLM2 is so impressive for its size.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's not just how big the model is, but what it's fed that matters?
Absolutely, and throughout that, they're constantly monitoring SmolLM2's performance.
So, like an AI training montage, they're pushing it further.
Observing its strengths and weaknesses and adjusting that training regimen accordingly.
Wow, like a really intense personal trainer.
Exactly.
Okay, so they've got this lean, mean math-trained machine,
Hmm.
but does it actually deliver, right?
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, because there's this one result that really jumped out at me.
Oh, yeah.
SmolLM2 aced this test, the MMLU MCF.
That's a tough one.
And the thing is, researchers thought only these giant models could handle it.
Right, it's a multiple choice test, covers 57 different subjects,
Oh, wow.
a true measure of broad knowledge and reasoning ability.
Okay.
And SmolLM2 didn't just pass, it exceeded expectations.
So what does that tell us?
Well, it's a sign we might be underestimating the potential of these small models, especially with this strategic training.
Okay, so big question then. Is this the end of the giant AI models?
It's a good question, but
Are we headed for like a world ruled by these nimble, efficient, small LM2s?
well, hold that thought because there's another layer to this story.
Oh.
Instruction tuning.
Okay, so we've got this raw power now. How do we make it actually useful?
Exactly, and here's where it gets even more interesting. They created a custom dataset called SmolTalk.
SmolTalk.
Yeah, it blends existing datasets like MagPi Ultra for conversational skills,
Okay.
but they also built new ones specifically for SmolLM2.
Wait, so they had to build new data sets. Why not just use what's already out there?
It turns out those existing instruction tuning datasets, they just weren't cutting it for SmolLM2.
What?
When they tried fine-tuning with those, the model underperformed compared to other post-trained models.
Interesting.
They needed something tailored to SmolLM2's unique strengths and weaknesses, you see.
So it's like generic workout routine versus a personalized plan from a top-notch coach.
Exactly. That tailored approach is key to unlocking the full potential.
Okay, so what's in this SmolTalk concoction? What did they actually put in there?
Well, it's a fascinating mix.
Okay.
You've got small constraints for teaching it to follow those detailed instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's MagPi Ultra, which focuses on back and forth conversation.
Okay, so like they're really trying to create a digital conversationalist here.
Exactly, not just a command follower.
Got it.
So you've got this powerful base model trained on a massive amount of data, and now it's being fine-tuned with this custom-made instruction set. So,
What does it all add up to? What's the result?
well, the results, they speak for themselves.
Okay.
After fine-tuning with SmolTalk, SmolLM2, huge leap in its ability to understand and follow instructions.
Interesting. So it's not just spitting out facts anymore. It's becoming more like, what, a helpful assistant.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, an intelligent assistant.
But what does that actually mean for us out here in the real world? I mean, how does that translate?
Well, think about it. This could be the key to bringing powerful AI to your phone, your laptop,
Okay.
devices that could never handle those massive models we're used to.
Right.
That's where things get truly exciting.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but we're going to have to hold that thought.
Sure.
We'll pick it up right there in the next part of our deep dive into SmolLM2.
Sounds good. Imagine, having this personal AI assistant
Mm-hmm.
that can help you draft emails, debug code, even tackle complex math problems, all from your phone.
Okay, that's pretty wild, but are we really saying goodbye to the giant models then? I mean, they
Right.
still kind of hold the crown for those super intricate tasks, right?
True, the larger models, they still have an edge.
Yeah.
When it comes to those tasks that require vast knowledge, complex reasoning,
Okay.
but what SmolLM2 shows us
Yeah.
is that we might have been too quick to dismiss these smaller models. They can be the perfect fit for so many applications.
Right.
Especially where resources are tight.
So it's about finding the right tool for the job then.
Exact.
Sometimes you need a sledgehammer, sometimes you need a scalpel.
A perfect analogy,
And I guess if I'm a small startup, I can't afford to train a massive model.
right?
But maybe I could fine-tune a smaller one to fit my exact needs.
Precisely. SmolLM2, it really democratizes access to AI. It empowers those researchers, developers who might not have those vast computing resources.
Yeah.
It opens doors for innovation at a much smaller scale.
This is making me think, what if, like, you could fine-tune a model to match a certain writing style?
Oh, interesting.
Have it write like Shakespeare or Hemingway.
The possibilities are vast.
Yeah.
Imagine a marketing tool that adapts its writing to perfectly reflect your brand's voice. Or a chatbot that sounds just like your favorite celebrity.
Okay, hold on. This is all very exciting. But let's be realistic for a second.
Sure.
What are the limitations? SmolLM2, groundbreaking, yes, but it's still early days, right?
Of course, of course.
So what are we up against?
Smaller models, they've made incredible strides, but there are still challenges.
Okay.
They might struggle with tasks that demand that deep knowledge, that nuanced reasoning.
Like what? Give me an example.
Grasping those intricate scientific concepts or writing, a philosophical treatise.
Right.
Those are areas where large models still have an advantage.
So those really complex tasks, that's still the realm of the giants for now.
For now, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's the issue of data efficiency.
Okay.
Smaller models, they need less data than their larger counterparts, sure.
Yeah.
But they're still data hungry.
Okay.
And we're constantly researching ways to make these models learn more effectively from less data.
So data is the fuel, but efficiency is key.
Exactly. Improving data efficiency is a major focus in our field.
Makes sense.
And as we make these models more accessible,
Yeah.
Another crucial consideration comes into play.
Which is,
The potential for misuse.
right, that's the double-edged sword of any powerful technology. We need to make sure it's used responsibly.
Absolutely. Think about it. With smaller models potentially running on personal devices,
Right?
the potential for misuse is amplified.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We need to think carefully about security, ethical implications, all of that.
So it's not just about making the technology work. It's about building those safeguards to make sure it's used for good.
Exactly. 100%.
Let's get back to the good stuff. What kind of real-world applications are we actually looking at here? I know we touched on AI assistants,
Right.
but I'm curious to go a little deeper.
Well, imagine personalized education tools
Okay?
that adapt to a student's individual learning style and pace.
So no more one-size-fits-all education.
Exactly. We could have AI tutors that tailor those lessons to each student's needs, their abilities.
That would be revolutionary.
And then there's healthcare.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine portable AI-powered diagnostic tools
Okay.
that can be used in remote areas or places with limited access to, those specialized medical professionals.
It's like having a virtual doctor in your pocket.
Precisely.
That's amazing.
And we can't forget about assistive technologies for people with disabilities.
Right, of course.
Smaller language models could power more intuitive and responsive voice interfaces,
Okay.
making technology more accessible for everyone.
The potential for positive change is huge.
It really is.
But we also have to address the elephant in the room,
Oh.
job displacement.
Oh, right.
What happens when AI can do more and more tasks that humans currently do?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah,
And it's a conversation we need to have as a society.
for sure.
As AI evolves, we need to adapt, find new ways for humans and AI to work together.
So it's not about AI replacing humans, but about finding ways to complement and enhance our capabilities.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The paper on SmolLM2, they mentioned that they actually created several versions of the model.
Oh, different sizes?
Yes, in addition to that 1.7 billion parameter model,
Okay.
they developed versions with 360 million, even 135 million parameters.
Wow, so they're really pushing the boundaries of small?
It's a testament to their focus on accessibility.
Yeah.
These even smaller models, they're designed to run on devices with even more limited hardware.
So it's about bringing AI to everyone, regardless of their resources.
Precisely.
That's a powerful vision. It's about democratizing AI, making it a tool that everyone can use and benefit from.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about, the personality of AI.
Interesting.
We've talked about making AI helpful, useful.
Right.
But what about making it engaging, maybe even entertaining?
The quest for an AI that's not just a tool, but a companion.
Yeah, exactly.
A digital friend that can make us laugh, teach us things, even challenge our perspectives.
We want AI that could hold a conversation, crack a joke, surprise us with its wit.
Yes, not just a dry, robotic assistant.
Right, exactly.
That's a challenge.
In what way?
It requires AI to understand human language, humor, psychology, all of these complex things.
So did the SmolLM2 team actually tackle that?
They did. They recognized the importance of making AI more than just an information processor, so they loaded SmolTalk with a large chunk of conversational data.
Oh, okay.
Datasets like Magpie Ultra, full of those back-and-forth dialogues.
So teaching it to, shoot the breeze.
Haha, you could say that.
Okay,
Exposing it to those nuances of human interaction.
got it.
But there's more to a conversation than just exchanging information.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's the social cues, the humor, empathy.
And those are tough to teach an AI.
Indeed. And they didn't try to, program humor or empathy directly.
Okay.
Instead, they took this data-driven approach.
Hmm.
Filled SmolTalk with these diverse data sets reflecting different facets of human interaction.
So learning by example. Show, don't tell.
Precisely. Datasets like System Chats 2.0 and Everyday Conversations.
Okay.
Packed with casual multi-turn interactions.
So they were trying to teach it the natural flow of conversation.
Exactly, with all its tangents and digressions.
Did it work? I mean, can SmolLM2 actually make us laugh?
Well, anecdotal evidence suggests it can generate those witty and engaging responses. Even crack a joke or two.
Okay, now we're talking, but beyond the laughs.
Right.
What about AI's potential to actually solve real-world problems, make a positive impact?
That's crucial, and the SmolLM2 team clearly considered this.
Okay.
They included a dataset called Explore Instruct in SmolTalk.
What does that do?
It enhances the model's ability to understand and respond to real-world instructions.
So it's not just about being charming, it's about being helpful, productive.
Exactly. They're equipping it with the knowledge and skills to tackle those real-world challenges.
Not just a digital companion then, but a digital collaborator.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Now, I've always been fascinated by AI's ability to generate, creative content.
Oh, yeah.
Poems, scripts, even music.
Fascinating.
Did the SmolLM2 team explore that creative side at all?
They did.
Oh, really?
One of the data sets they incorporated into SmolTalk was small summarization.
Small summarization.
Specifically designed to enhance the model's ability to, condense information, create summaries.
Interesting, but how does that relate to creative writing? I don't quite follow.
Well, the ability to summarize.
Yeah.
It's fundamental to writing.
Yeah.
It requires Grasping the essence of a text, identifying those key points,
Right.
and then expressing them concisely.
Like the art of distillation.
Exactly.
Boiling a complex idea down to its most potent form.
And mastering summarization, it can be applied to other forms of creative writing.
So,
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, thank you. And can we wrap up for the main takeaway?
Absolutely. It sounds like it's a good time to summarize.
yeah, we've covered a lot, so let's bring it all together.
We can quickly skim the creative writing aspect we were just getting into.
Before wrapping up with the main takeaways, sure thing.
So as we were saying, they also use data sets like small rewrite,
Small rewrite, okay.
focusing on paraphrasing and rewording, which helps the model find different ways to say things.
Giving it a toolbox of linguistic tricks.
Exactly. So all of this is to lay a good foundation for a creative AI.
Right, but with that in mind, what are the big takeaways from all of this?
Well, I think first, size isn't everything when it comes to AI. Smaller models like SmolLM2 are proving that they can pack a punch,
Right,
especially with the right training, which, as we talked about, is data-centric.
right. It's all about the data.
Second, accessibility is key.
Okay.
These smaller models open up a world of possibilities for people who don't have access to those massive computing resources.
Yeah, and that's a key part of this.
And finally, this is a collaborative journey. The open source nature of SmolLM2, it's a testament to the power of working together.
Yeah, so everyone can benefit.
To advance AI in a responsible and beneficial way.
It's a reminder that the future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something that we're all shaping together.